September 2nd, 1752 ended like any other night. Candles burned low, shop ledgers closed, parish bells marked the hour. The next morning was September 14th. 11 calendar days did not occur. No storm interrupted them. No war consumed them. They were removed by statute, and yet contracts still matured. Wages were still owed. Rent was still due. One morning, the date was wrong, and everything tied to it had to reconcile. For more than 150 years, most of Catholic Europe had used the Gregorian calendar, introduced in 1582 to correct a slow astronomical drift. Britain had refused it, continuing with the older Julian system. The difference accumulated gradually, about 11 minutes per year, until it amounted to 11 full days. By the mid-18th century, Britain's civil calendar lagged behind its trading partners. When a merchant in London dated a bill September 1st, his counterpart in Amsterdam might call it September 12th. Diplomatic letters carried dual dates. Insurance contracts required clarification. Naval logs needed conversion tables. The discrepancy was no longer symbolic, it was operational. In 1751, Parliament passed the Calendar New Style Act. It mandated two changes. First, the legal new year would begin on January 1st instead of March 25th. Second, to realign with the Gregorian calendar, Wednesday, September 2nd, 1752 would be followed immediately by Thursday, September 14th. The correction would be clean. 11 dates would be omitted. No partial days, no staggered rollout. The country would simply advance. The calendar was not decorative. It structured courts, rents, shipping schedules, tax collection, apprenticeship terms, and agricultural leases. Parish registers depended on it. Wills cited it. Bonds matured on it. Every obligation in the kingdom referenced a date, which raised a contradiction. If 11 days vanished, what happened to the obligations tied to them? Parliament anticipated the risk. The Act specified that no person would lose or gain by the omission. Rents, annuities, and interest payments were to be calculated as though the calendar change did not shorten the year. Quarter days' traditional rent deadlines were adjusted so landlords did not collect less and tenants did not pay more. Time moved forward. Money did not. This required administrative recalibration at scale. Courts reopened on September 14th, with cases previously scheduled for the 3rd through the 13th. Clerks amended records. Printers produced revised almanacs showing the missing dates as blank space. Public notices were posted in market squares and churchyards explaining the shift. For merchants, the benefit was immediate. International trade no longer required dual dating. Bills of exchange aligned across borders. Insurance policies synchronized with continental markets. Maritime navigation, reliant on astronomical tables already calculated in Gregorian terms, became simpler. Conversion errors declined. Alignment reduced friction. But the reform also contained a quieter structural pivot. Until 1752, Britain's legal year began on March 25th, Lady Day. That meant dates between January 1st and March 24th were recorded under what we would now call the previous year. February 10th, 1750 was written as February 10th, 1749. After the reform, January 1st became the start of the legal year. Documents from January to March required dual notation for clarity, 1750/51. Personal histories fractured, estate records overlapped. Legal interpretation required awareness of two systems coexisting on the same page. The country did not just skip days. It redefined the beginning of a year. Consider a tenant farmer in Kent whose lease required rent on Michaelmas, traditionally September 29th. Under the old calendar, seasonal rhythms guided expectations. Harvest preceded payment. After the reform, quarter days were adjusted to preserve economic balance. The rent did not disappear with the missing days. It moved. For him, the harvest still arrived according to the sun, but the due date had been recalculated by statute. The structural shift was not astronomical, it was administrative. Britain demonstrated that civil time could be engineered for coordination. The economic dimension extended further. Interest-bearing instruments depended on precise day counts. Shortening the calendar without adjustment would have altered yields. By preserving the full financial year through recalculation, Parliament protected credit markets from distortion. Taxation followed similar logic. The fiscal year, historically tied to Lady Day, shifted forward to account for the lost 11 days. Over time, this evolved into the April 6th start of the British tax year, a date still observed centuries later. A temporary correction became a permanent fixture. What began as synchronization with Europe embedded itself into domestic finance. Psychologically, adaptation was swift. Some individuals found birthdays repositioned. Others marked anniversaries according to the old style for years. Parish registers from 1752 show crossed-out entries and careful annotations. Within a generation, the missing days became a historical curiosity rather than a living memory. Normalization followed clarity. The reform illustrates a broader principle. Timekeeping systems appear natural but are institutional frameworks layered onto celestial patterns. When those frameworks diverge from practical needs, trade, navigation, taxation, they are revised. The authority to revise them matters. By executing the change nationwide on a single date, Parliament avoided fragmentation. There were no regional exceptions, no phased adoption. The compression minimized ambiguity. Confusion existed, but it was bounded in time. The alternative, continuing divergence, would have compounded coordination costs year after year. Modern parallels are quieter but persistent. Time zones divide the globe for railway and telegraph efficiency. Daylight saving time advances clocks to adjust economic activity. Digital networks insert leap seconds to reconcile atomic precision with planetary rotation. Each intervention modifies civil time for structural coherence. The 1752 reform was larger in scale but similar in logic. It prioritized alignment over continuity. The sky did not accelerate. Crops did not mature faster. The moon did not skip a phase. Only the record advanced. Yet that advancement simplified trade, clarified contracts, and unified dating conventions across borders. It reduced the hidden tax of conversion. It aligned maritime logs with astronomical tables. It standardized the beginning of the year. The government did not erase experience. It recalibrated measurement. 11 dates were omitted from paper. None were removed from lived reality. People still worked the same number of hours that season. Ships still crossed the same oceans. But the numbering of those days changed, and with it, the architecture of obligation. How can a government erase days without breaking every obligation tied to dates? By redefining the system while preserving its internal balance. In September 1752, Britain chose alignment over drift. The correction was abrupt, but the effect was stabilizing. Administrative time became synchronized with its trading world. The sun rose as usual on the 14th. The calendar simply caught up. Primary title: Britain deleted 11 days from daily life. If 11 days disappeared now, which system would feel it first